Hello and welcome to another episode of me critiquing artwork from members of Learn to Paint with Confidence. Learn to Paint with Confidence is an online course I created sharing a process and a method I use to really see dramatic improvement in my artwork, and this is a process now I share with others. If you'd like a free taster session, just check the link in the description box and you can go and check that out there. So let's crack on. We've been doing a few of these episodes already, so I'll link to those other episodes in the description box if you want to see those. But first of all, I'm going to start with Dawn's artwork. And so thank you so much, Dawn, for your submissions. I am seeing such a clear style coming from you. I love how cohesive your artwork looks together. And that is really important if and when you ever wanted to start selling your artwork. I don't know if that's something that you were wanting to do, but this is really important that you have such a clear style and you're nailing that. Because when I see all your artwork, I get such a clear sense of who you are as an artist and what you want to bring out into the world. And it makes me feel really comfortable when I look at your artwork because I get a really clear, cohesive picture of your art style. And I can see with each of the paintings that you have submitted, I think they improve like with each one that you post in the community. And so I'm really, really excited. I feel like you have such a clear path ahead of you and you just have to walk it and go create more and more. So first of all, I really love the textures that you add in your paintings. I think many artists are afraid to use paint sometimes and use a lot of the paint, whereas I don't see that with yours, and I get a really strong feeling of the texture and the richness of the paint that you're using. So well done on not holding back with the paint as well, because I think that really adds so much. I also really like how you have built like the light and the darks together, like the values, especially with the pink flowers. I can see some really nice differences in the color temperatures. We've got some like more bluey pinks and then some more warmy red pinks, warm red pinks. So that's really nice because I get a real sense of the shadows and how that makes up the flower. So really beautiful. I think going forward, my little homework that I'm going to give you is to go through, I might have already mentioned this, so ignore me if you've already done this, but I would like you to go through the composition lesson of Learn to Paint with Confidence again and really think about how you're putting the roses together. Here's a little example, like having a little play with compositions. This was a painting I did of some orchids, and I wasn't sure on how I wanted where the flowers were going to go to create a nice composition. So I did a couple studies, and I do this regularly for different paintings, have different studies to kind of like nail down a composition before going ahead and painting it. And I think what I want from you is for each painting, before diving into the painting, I know that is what we all want to do, we just want to dive straight into the canvas, but I want you to make at least 2 studies. It can be in pencil or charcoal is really nice. 2 little studies. It doesn't have to be detailed. I'm literally talking 5 minutes to detail where you want those flowers to be. I think this pink one with the pink flowers is great with the composition, but especially the others, I kind of notice that the flowers, like say this green one here, they kind of go down in a row and my eye is not sure where to start looking. I really like to draw attention to one main focal point and then kind of lead your eye around the painting with a maximum of like 3 focal points. So one kind of like main thing of like, look at me, and then a little look at me, oh, now you can look at me, and then back to the main focal point. So yeah, there's a little bit of competition, I feel like, with some of these flowers, and especially these 2, again, kind of like on top of each other down the middle. This is not so symmetrical, so that's fine. But again, with the hydrangeas, there's 2 main ones down the middle. So I'd like you to get away from the middle if possible. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just bring up golden ratio. And if you could make this, it would be great. There's a template in Learn to Paint with Confidence, which no doubt you've seen. Let's bring it up in white because it's a little bit hard to see in black. And yeah, so say if I just like pull this over a painting, and you can kind of do this with your sketches as well. you can kind of see like where this like spiral kind of ends up is where you could place a flower, and that could be like the main focal point. And you can flip this round as well, like it doesn't matter. Oh, sorry. How do you flip it round? I'm not sure how to flip it, but you can flip it around whichever way suits you. Same with this one, if you could rotate it. So if you could make this little tool, you can do that in Learn to Paint with Confidence. There's a section for that. I've actually got mine here. It's a little bit dirty, but when I'm doing a painting, I just hold that up to my artwork, and have like my paintbrush kind of behind it and mark on where I want the flowers. So definitely go check out the composition section again. And yeah, your homework is to make some little studies going forward before you take it to canvas. But really beautiful, and I feel like you are literally just about to take off. So keep painting on, and stunning. Excited for you. Okay, let's move on to Guro. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. You'll have to let me know how to pronounce your name. But I noticed a really soft, beautiful style, and I know that you was one of like the founding members in Learn to Paint with Confidence, and for that I massively appreciate your support all this time. Your artwork has such a softness and an aspect that I sense like a bit of storytelling, which I mentioned in a couple episodes ago, but it's such a hard thing to have storytelling in your artwork, and it's not something that you could like learn or something I feel like I could teach. So it comes very naturally to some artists, and I feel like you have this gift of storytelling in the softness, and there's such a quality to your artwork that really invites the viewer in, rather than kind of being like, hey, I'm here, look at me. It's kind of like, come closer, come and have a little look at this, what I have for you. And that is such an amazing quality to have in your artwork. And I think it's very considered. The approach that you've come to with both of these paintings is very considered, and that definitely rings through when you're viewing your artworks. I feel like I don't have a ton of notes. I just feel like keep creating. Like I think you will nail down more and more of your style and what you want to say just the more you paint. So my homework for you is just to keep on painting, keep experimenting, and not to be too held up on things being perfect or things being exactly right before moving on. Just feel free to experiment a little bit more, and try and break free from that feeling of like it needing to be perfect in a way, as like I want you to feel like you are the artist and that's what's most important, rather than this is my painting and this is what's most important. Do you know what I mean? So I'd love to see you experiment a little bit more and gain a bit more confidence. And a little note I would have on this painting here is the flower placement in the field. But if that's intentional, then please take anything I say with a pinch of salt, because it is so beautiful, and I don't want to ever detract from it. But with the flower placement, it feels like they're a little bit randomly spaced out, whereas in nature, if you had a look of like a field of flowers, it'd be so random. You know what I mean? Like the placement would be very random. So the placement, the placement of the flowers look quite uniform, I would say. But again, that can be intentional, and that's not a bad thing. It's just something I suppose to question, is it intentional, or how do you want to go forward with that? But yeah, please don't touch it. They're beautiful and well done. And just keep painting. We need more paintings from you, please. Okay, let's move on to Hannah's work. Wow, again, such a strong style. I'm really proud of everybody who's really leaning into what you want to make. I'm sensing such a strong voice from you as an artist. And I'm loving these textural pieces. I mean, the piece in the middle as well, is the colors. I sense you have a great eye for drawing, because this looks so realistic, and also a great eye for color. In all these pieces, the colors are so harmonious, and that is something that is quite difficult to get down. So really nice with that. I'm really intrigued by these symbols, and the reflection is different. I think you could create like a whole series with this kind of like feel to it, and I think it would attract such a wide audience. Like people people who love this sort of style really, really love it. So I think definitely lean into that if you enjoy making these kind of pieces. I mean, they're all gorgeous, and I just think just keep creating more. My only little note again would be on composition. With this line kind of like runs through the middle, and everything else about the composition is perfect. My only thing is if this line could have not been so central. It's not perfectly central, but it's almost central. It's like my eye wants it to be probably a little bit lower, or make it so it is like bang on in the middle, kind of like whether you want it symmetrical, make it absolutely symmetrical, or have it like a third of the way down or 2/3 of the way down. And again, with this kind of piece as well, with the composition, if I just grab, where did it go? If I just grab the golden ratio again, and we can see it doesn't perfectly fit really, but if you can see like where this tree kind of starts, if that could have just been along this line instead, rather than this tree sort of starting here, because it kind of like starts in the middle, and it's almost like my eye kind of wants to just push it to the side a little bit more, or have it flipped around so it's more of that up close part and the mountains in the background. But yeah, I think if that was just to the side a little bit more, it would have made for a much more intriguing composition, because then your eye would be even further led around and like, oh, I wonder what's around the corner. Whereas at the moment, my eye is led to the barn, which is fine, but I think it kind of stays at the barn rather than going like, oh, I wonder what's around the corner. Oh, and there's a little barn there, and kind of like leading around the painting. So that's my only note, is composition. I think these compositions are great. I think they could be improved like even further going forward. And this is a really fun idea, because when you have the golden ratio, like this tree that you've got going around, or apologies if it's not a tree, that's my interpretation. But whatever it is, to have it kind of going around, I think you could have real fun using the golden ratio template. So yeah, go and check out that in the composition section. Make your little templates with the thirds rule and the golden ratio rule, and have lots of fun. Again, don't change these. They're beautiful. They're exactly the way they are. Just a little note for future. And so thank you, Hannah. I'm just going to check what time are we on. Oh yeah, we've got some time. That's cool. Let's carry on going. Okay, so let's have a look at Laura's work. Thank you so much, Laura, for your submissions. Your work is so cute. It has such a nostalgic vibe. I feel like this little yellow house is like a memory I had from a dream once, or something like that. It's so happy. Like the colors that you use are very happy as well. My little note for you is to maybe go through the color mixing section of Learn to Paint with Confidence again, and gain some more confidence with color mixing. I noticed in both these paintings, the colors are beautiful that you've used, and I really like the color palettes together. I think there's a lot of like block colors, and when we look at the book painting, I feel like you so carefully and conscientiously created these colors with the little highlight around the book. And I can see you've been so careful with that there's so much of a block color, like it's all one color with each book. And I suppose that adds more of like a cartoony look to it. And if that's intentional, then that's absolutely fine. As I say with everything, if something's intentional, then that's good. It's when we do things that aren't intentional and we don't want it to be a certain way, that's when there's like room for improvement, which I love. That's exciting, because that's when you see so much progress. So yeah, I would, if this is not intentional with that kind of cartoony look, then I would definitely recommend having another look through the color theory section of Learn to Paint with Confidence, and kind of gain some more confidence mixing those colors. And what I want is, rather than I seeing a blue book or a purple book and thinking, okay, I'll mix some purple and I'll put that on, I want you to kind of take like probably every brush stroke as a separate entity from the rest of the thing. So I don't even want your eye to see that you are painting a stack of books. I just want you to think, okay, there's like this little bit of the painting here. I have like a little example. I'm just going to take this down. This is like a very impressionistic abstracty piece I did up in Scotland. And what I mean is when you look at like a scene, so this was obviously mountains, rather than seeing like, oh, this whole mountain is green and then painting it green, have a look at like each brush stroke. So get your brush and think, okay, so what color am I going to paint that little tiny part that would make up a brush stroke? And then here I went for like a lime green, and then here a dark green, and here we've got like a pinky orangey kind of color, and then some like blue next to lime green again, next to some orange, next to some yellow. So when I kind of hold it here, it looks green, but then when you like look up close, you can really see all the different colors in the painting. And that's what I think can really like kind of take you to that next level of not just having one item as one color, but instead like having everything weave together. And that's how we can create a dynamic painting where it's not like background, subject, and just having it 2 layers, when we can kind of create this dynamic painting where all the layers kind of go into each other, and that will take it to the next level. So I'm really impressed with your technique here as well. I see a lot of progress even between these two. And also I feel again like there's so much carefulness with these lines and with these textures and little brush strokes. Just keep going. I think you will get more and more confident as you keep on painting, Laura, and just keep on making artwork, and you will get more confidence as you go along as well. But just, yeah, I'm excited to see your work. But yeah, your homework is color theory, please. Thank you so much, Laura. How much time have we got? Let's do one more. Let's do Liezl's work. Liezl, these are absolutely stunning. I know I've said it before, but I think your work is, I could walk into a high-end gallery and see these pieces hanging up. And so please give your work the elevation that it needs and deserves, because these pieces are so beautiful. Please don't feel held back. This one especially is my favorite because of the composition. Well, for many reasons. I love the color theory and how you have like this yellow with this blue, and the texture as well. But the composition, there's great leading lines in here, because all the kind of lines lead me to the focal point. I feel like this is probably the main focal point, and the clouds kind of like lead me into that. Everything leads me there. So that's really beautiful. I love that. That would be like my only piece of advice. I feel like all these have focal points. Probably just this one could maybe do with just a little bit more of a focal point. Maybe it could just be like the tiny little outline of a sun or something, but nothing major. And please don't change anything with all these, just notes for going forward. But I just think they're so beautiful. Keep on painting, and I think you'll find some real collectors who will support you through your art journey. If that was something that you wanted, if you wanted to sell your artwork, I honestly feel like your paintings would be very easy to sell because they're so beautiful. I think people would snap them up out of your hands. So if that's something that you want to do, I'm hoping to be able to focus on helping students take that next step with selling artwork. It's not ready yet because of my time constraints at the moment, but it's something that I would love to do going forward. So if anyone is sort of interested in selling artwork and taking that next step, please always just let me know. But yeah, Liezl, for you, just keep on nailing down your style. You've got such a unique style, very atmospheric. Lean into that. And I can see a whole collection growing. I can see a whole group of collectors buying your collections. So well done, and keep going. So thank you so much. I always try and keep these within sort of like the 20-minute parameter so they don't go on too long. But thank you so much for all the students that have submitted their artworks today. I hope that you found it helpful. Whether I'm talking about your artwork or you're just watching along with a cup of tea, I hope that you found something beneficial in that. And yeah, if you're interested in enrolling in Learn to Paint with Confidence, there is a free taster session in the description box. You can go and check it out, and it will just give you an overview of what we kind of cover, the method that I teach, and you'll see if it's right for you or not. So thank you so much. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Bye.